toward me, look so weak. I've never seen you with such tired eyes. And everything we said we'd be, we just traded for a suit coat and a tie. Underneath the road I dream, I'll see you where the ocean meets the sky. Under your toes, the fire glows. You are ready for a different kind of life. You're silent, bold, the wind is cold. You must return to the wild. You're silent, bold, the wind is cold. You must return to the wild. Follow me down, there's no one around. Lay back and take your socks and shoes right off. A natural light, it's so damn polite. Make you feel just like you were young. Yeah. Standing underneath the rows of trees, you can see where the ocean meets the sky. Under our clothes, the fire grows. We are ready for this life, I'm running wild. Under
it. And then we even have that shooting out in Knoxville that we thought was a school shooting. Turns out, no, it's just police killing another unarmed black person. So we'll talk about those stories. But just, Eric, what do you think about, like, what it means for us now moving forward?
I'm not going to hold my breath. That's just, and maybe that just seems pessimistic, but and I do know where I'm at. Completely self-aware, but also maybe more politicians, maybe the people that we elect will actually make sure that people aren't held accountable. It can't just be every experience. So I'm gonna wait and see what happens. I like to see what happens. Officers, I would like to see what happens to officers in the stories that you mentioned, because it's one of those only time will tell.
No, definitely. I think you're absolutely right about that. Before we bounce off this story, you guys have any questions about this, any comments, concerns from this chat? I just don't see like, once again, after watching this and getting the verdict, something in my mind just kind of clicked and said, of course he's guilty. Like, why was this ever a concern to us? But we've seen far worse happen and then get away with it. So we're happy to see this resolve.
Officers, I would like to see what happens.
Millions of Americans are using GoodRx to save on their prescriptions.
Once it's cut up, send this to one of your Blue friends, send this to one of your Blue Lives Matters individual, because they are punching the air right now. They are upset right now, and they rightfully so, because the white supremacist thing that holds up our justice system is being stripped away from it. And just in accordance to what we're seeing and what we're going to be doing in the near future here, it's super important for us to stay engaged. But I appreciate you guys. Take care of yourself. Put on your goddamn mask. Peace.
Whatever the reasons, some murders remain unsolved. Every Tuesday, the Parcast original series Unsolved Murders explores the facts of a real-life cold case.
I can adjust you on the fly. All right, we got that. So let me set up the other one for us. How you guys doing, man? Real quick, we want to send some shout outs because we gained a subscriber while we were live, so that's what's up. There's 5 people watching on YouTube, 6 people watching on Facebook. Stop what you're doing right now. Let's all share this right now. Let's just share this, and while we're sharing this, let's say thank you to Ursula Rolexer. I wish I knew how to say her name. Yvette Little, Evelon. We had a bunch of new people jump in and subscribe to the channel, so that's super cool. Shout out to the booth boss, Keisha. Thanks for coming through. That's day 6. Day 6.
Even though she sneak dissing in the chat.
What's she talking about? Like my computer.
Talking about you begging for likes and shares.
What's wrong with that?
Ain't too proud to beg.
Ain't too proud to beg. If I was begging for something from you, Keisha, you be happy about it. Why you hating on me now? Let me be great. Let me be great.
Let him be great, Keisha.
I was never promised nothing. I got it from the pump. All right. Let me. Let's start with some of these stories here. We'll go back to the
Mr. Tex is here.
Twisted Tex, what's up? Twisted Tex, thanks for coming in the live stream yesterday for the for the money show where we talk about stock. Some people getting beat the fuck up in Dogecoin, but hey.
Ooh, bro, I woke up this morning. So first of all, me and Hero had hopped on just to kind of chat, and I was on the computer. We were talking yesterday, and I was on my computer, and I was like, yeah, man, this Doge to the moon. I was like, I don't know, look like it's about to dip off, and he was like, yeah, man, but if it runs in and you, man, I was like, he was like, yeah, it's probably a good idea for you not to buy in. It's probably not going to do good. And sure enough, I woke up this morning, it was like 30.03, whatever, the 3.8 from like, it was almost 44 yesterday.
It dropped to the 20s, so I was just like, well, I guess that was a good decision.
That's heartbreaking.
That's a good decision.
Heartbreaking.
But
that's a good pump and dump, though.
It was good. I mean, I made $400 off there. I can't be mad, but there was a part of me that really wanted to see it go to 6 minutes. But we'll talk about it more in this show. We'll actually talk about this show, and then we'll talk about it. So I'm gonna share this to Facebook real quick, and then we'll get into the things I forgot to tell you, where it's just rapid fire for us.
Bought in on basement.
That's how you want it. Now we bought in at like 0.0072. So like she can't go, bro. She can't go.
Nice little. That was a quick Elon Musk pump and dump. I know that was him scaling out his position. Hey man, that's how you be rich. Hedging his bet against Tesla.
Alright. Alright, ready for the next segment? We're gonna start off with I didn't get to put them all in there. But we'll start off with Jake Paul and his fight.
Oh my.
Hey. The algorithm dictates. The algorithm dictates our actions. Right?
No, it's fine. It's complete. Hey, we got to. We have to. 80-20.
80-20. Hey, how you guys doing? My name's Hiro. That's Eric. We are one half of the identity group. You are the second half. I know you were thinking like, Hiro can't do math. No, I think of you. We think of you. We love you. And we thank you for joining us. Right now, we're about to go into the things that we forgot to tell you last week. So this is quick fire rapid session where we talk about a bunch of things that happen between the live streams. So for better or worse, here we go. First thing we want to talk about is happy fasting day, week 2 of us fasting, all that good stuff. But Jake Paul is now 3-0 in the boxing universe, and there's a part of me that wants to fight him so I can change that record. Eric, what do you think about the fight? What do you think about this situation?
First of all, Jake Paul is trash. That fight was trash. Ben Askren is super trash. Like, he got 2-piece, and it was a slow, sloppy 2-piece. I was like, this dude, he must have took a dive or something. I was so shocked when I watched the video. I was like, man, I'm so glad I didn't pay-per-view that. I'm so happy y'all did and wasted y'all's money.
Like, if we did waste money on you, those are the people I feel bad for. But
I don't feel bad for him.
Someone had to put it on Twitter for us, so I appreciate whoever put it on Twitter for us. You feel me? Those are the people I'm grateful for. But to that point, we also have to make an update on this. Jake Paul's accusation from a while back, he has now responded. He was asked about this at the boxing tournament about the sexual assaults. He said he refutes them. He says that he's like a mama's boy and that he doesn't believe in, doing. He believes in consent, and that's not how he was raised. Obviously, this leads to a he said, she said situation. Hopefully there's further investigation, because if there's nothing there, we want to clear his name. But if there is something there, we want to make sure we prosecute it to the full extent of the law.
And torches.
Yeah, we want to make sure we get this to the max of what it is. But Jake Paul is gutter trash. If you guys didn't know that, the thing that you gotta understand about this whole Jake Paul thing is he made like $1.8 million in 16 years.
Hey, run it up, man.
Run it
That's
up.
what I
So,
say to you.
yeah.
Trash, but run up your check, man.
In Florida, a Florida woman threatened to kill Kamala Harris in a video. Agents say, Secret Service. Look. People. Look. Let me tell y'all how social media works, okay? You don't get to say whatever the hell you want. You just don't. Because then people will come find you. Eric, speak on it.
Bro.
Like, I don't know how
Like,
she...
no. Like, when you're in a position like that, dude, people never forget what you do to them. And if they find an opportune moment to hit you when they think you're most vulnerable, bro, that's why you always treat people with respect. Treat people with respect. Be kind to people. Nobody asking for a whole lot. Just make sure you go in and hold on, bro, man. Yo, whoever this is in the chat, bro, y'all bogus for spamming a chat like that. But hey, low key helping us in the algorithm. But anyway, man, no, you just gotta treat people well, man. Listen, you know, whatever comes of the story, I mean, we'll see how it goes. But it still was a blow to him on his way up. But you know, if he continues to have success, unfortunately, it'll be forgotten unless a gang of ladies just decided to come on out and say they know some of their stories.
I'm always going to be mystified that people think that they can say whatever they want to say on the internet and get away with it. But hey, that's just how it is. Like, they'll learn the hard way, or they want it all. Another major predicament that we're going through is the COVID-19 booster shot is more likely going to be a thing of the future for us, based on Pfizer's the CEO of Pfizer. Probably within the next 12 months. Makes sense because we get flu shots and booster shots in general. So this isn't like, oh my God type situation to me. I don't know. How do you feel about it? I guess Eric doesn't feel any way about it. But I'm assuming Eric just bounced. But basically for this, the situation is that they want to give out these booster shots, and I think that this is going to be a thing. This is like any other thing, and also for it to be a drug for a new virus, it's the perfected version. But more importantly, this is going to be useful to us because it's going to help us figure out when or where we can like line up our situations, because we have so many new strands of this virus coming out. It's going to be super important for us to get an upgraded version of it. So this makes sense to me, and this isn't going to be like something that tickles my brain too much. Steve Urkel is in the news, and he's in the news for something you wouldn't expect to be. The darling sweetheart from the 90s and late 80s is now out here selling weed. If you watch the fight with Jake Paul and Brian and whatever the fuck dude's name was.
Ben Askren.
Yeah, Ben Askren. Snoop Dogg and Steve Urkel. What's Steve Urkel's real name? He's also the voice of Sonic.
Jaleel White.
He reprised his role, and I don't know how this is legal because I know ABC, the mouse owns his likeness, so I don't know how he was able to do this, but I'm pretty sure Mickey Mouse is gonna come beat his ass. And but he's now going to be selling a strand of weed. I don't know what you think about that.
Hey, bro, Purple Urkel. Talking about the loud Urkel.
Yeah.
Hey, man. He's gonna be selling the Stephon Urkel.
Yeah.
Man, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be great.
More power to him. I was always a fan of Steve Urkel. It's so strange when you watch Family Matters because it was a show about all these this family and these structures, and then everything swiftly turned into this is his show. He started, if you want to be real, he started the TV cinematic universe, because when his ass popped up in the Cosby's or whatever show he popped up on, that's when shit got real. I was like, oh my God. But I didn't know that the lots were like right next to each other. I was in the belief, I was in the group of people who believed that was a real house and that there was just a camera. That was my first introduction to Real Housewives, or whatever you want to call it. But that's the situation. Another kind of weird story is, I don't know, Eric, who is this person on the screen? Do you know who this person is on the screen? What if I told you that this person is related to Tom Hanks? all the tattoos, all the booties. Like, this is Chet Hanks, and this is Tom Hanks' son. And Chet Hanks is in the news for us today because he is all about white boy summer. Now, when you hear this, it triggered my inner Black Lives Matter aspect. But white boy summer is all about being respectful to, as he says, bitches, and to being a stand-up guy and not doing anything, you know, dressing accordingly and just getting big and bulk for summer. It has a very positive spin on it, but Chet Hanks has a really bad habit of putting on a Patois accent as he raps, as he's also he's a white guy. Like, it's just very strange to see.
Did you say a Padawan?
I said Padawan, the Star Wars thing.
Yeah, patois.
Patois. It's just very strange to see. I don't. His music. I've heard some of the songs. They're not very good, but more power to him. It's all about the art with this guy. But he kind of messed himself up because not even a week later, allegations of domestic abuse came out on both sides, him and his wife. So he kind of went back into the shadows. But just remember, no matter how ugly or discredited or dysfunctional your family is, you'll never be Tom Hanks sitting on the red carpet with a dude that's your son with tattoos all across his body, speaking in a Jamaican accent as you're on the red carpet with him. You'll never be that person. I don't know. What do you think?
Bro, like, that's why nobody's ever heard of his son. He knew.
He hides him.
He knew. Yeah, he knew 20 years ago that this was who his boy was, and that's why we ain't heard of Chet Hanks till now. He's done all that he can do, but now that Tom Hanks has moved to Australia, there ain't real much he can do.
Hopefully, I hope that, you know, this can be resolved, because the white boy summer thing was actually a cool thing, a good idea, keeping people accountable, telling your bros to be polite to women. I hope things go better for him. But in this next story, we have the most polite naked man in the world. We are looking at Quebec's Canadian William Amos, who is a representative of, I think, Quebec? Yeah, Quebec District, Providence, who is, if you don't mind me saying, he's quite the in-shape, lovable person. I mean, look at those pecs. He's clearly laying out the law out there. I got so many more dirty jokes. You also, here we go. Hey. He's the
got the twig and berries out there.
He got there. Apparently, he had just finished working out and running some laps and stuff like that, and he didn't know that the meeting was actively going on his laptop. This is a Zoom fail. This is the issue with Zoom. And this is the issue with us.
Why was his laptop open?
But I think that these are first world problems. You feel me? This is like I don't get why he thought that like he would be safe or that he would be okay with this. But the lady directly to his left is his administrative leader, and she had the most polite takedown of him, which was, I would like to remind the members that while on camera, it is appropriate for them to be dressed in full clothing, in their most prompt attire. Like, you know, Canadians are the stereotype for them is that they're super polite. If this happened in America, this would be, from my news, this person would be asked to step down. This dude just offered an apology. So I guess.
Hey man, I hope it wasn't cold in the room at the time.
Hey, you know what? I could grind some cheese off of his abs. Look at those things. Those washboard abs. Hey, it's not. You can't judge me. I'm confident in myself.
Hey, bro, listen, more power to you. You got it.
Yo, so with this story, we have. This actually, we're gonna cover this in a little bit, but it's basically about Dogecoin wanting to be turned into National Weed Day. We'll cover this story in depth in the next one. This bill right here out of Florida, DeSantis signs an anti-rioting bill that sparks outcry, and part of this bill is giving people the permission to run over protesters. Eric, what's your thoughts on this?
Why? I don't know. I don't know if I need to. I don't honestly know if I need to say anything else. Why? Why do you want to run over a human? Why? What is that going to accomplish? Because I mean, the way the word is today, you're not safe if you run somebody over.
A lot of people think that it's sweet out here, but may I remind you, Florida's also a state that has the stand your ground laws, and that law is constantly being used for, as I like to call them, racist white people in these situations. They use this right to attack people, and then they think that they're going to have the law on their side, and they go to jail forever. We had a story about the guy who was a person parked in a handicapped spot, and the guy shot him while he was antagonizing his girlfriend and his child at his car. Like, it doesn't give you the right to do anything. And I feel like people are going to use this law the wrong way. If a bunch of protesters come to your car and start attacking you, that's one thing. But if you drive into a protest, you are not going to get the benefit of this law. This is just another. This is another story we'll talk about later on. The Republican Party's focus is not where it needs to be. But that's just this quick right now. It's just this quick outlook. Quick update on some of the things that we're learning about the Indiana. Whoops. I have to subscribe, guys. Sorry.
No.
But basically, I don't need this. I don't need it. But basically, the Indiana situation is they're finding out that 19-year-old he was actually flagged by the police, and he had weapons taken from him, but he was able to go back out and buy more weapons. Eric, in a situation where the FBI comes to your house, interviews you, take away a weapon from you, should you be allowed to go right back out and buy another gun?
No, but here's the issue. Why was he allowed to do so? The FBI comes to confiscate his guns. What they should have done was flag his ID. They go, when you go to buy a gun, you have to give your ID. They swipe that thing or scan that thing. They find you. Thing, it could pop up right there.
No, I feel like this is a greater conversation. This guy had a lot of issues. His dad committed suicide. He had manifestos about wanting to commit suicide. But there's one keynote thing that was super interesting about this. Do you know what a Brody is, or a Brony is?
A brony.
A Brony. It's age 16 and up males who like watching My Little Pony. It's a whole thing. He was a brony apparently, and he had a favorite pony, which was Applejack's. And then the day
He was a jabroni. That's what he was.
The Rock says, "Know your role and shut your mouth." But basically, he posted on his Facebook page he can't wait to be with Applejack's in the next life. He hopes he gets there. And if the FBI was following this guy and a post like that pops up, why wasn't he being tracked? There needs to be a greater effort in that. But we'll see what comes of that. Another
but even go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go for it.
I was just gonna say, like, again, this to me this just shows that we got some serious holes in the government. I mean, these things should be way tighter. Like, this stuff has to be tighter. It can't be so loosey goosey. That's unacceptable. Because again, if the FBI confiscates your guns, and make sure that you don't have to purchase any more guns and you couldn't harm yourself or other people, that's what I call being responsible as government.
No, for
again,
sure.
dropping the ball. Anyway, continue.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. All right, and then an update to a story from last week. Remember Ted Nugent and how he didn't know that COVID-19 meant 19 because that was the year that the strand was founded? Well, it turns out he tested positive for COVID-19 last Friday. He was at a gathering where he was speaking to at least 50 other people, which is now forced all those people to go get tested and everything. He actually has a non-asymptomatic version of it. He actually has some symptoms that require him to get medical attention. So we'll see what happens here, but I don't know. I told you so. You're an idiot. There's so many things I can say here, but like, I don't know.
Say them all. Say them all.
It's Ted Nugent. I can't believe we're talking about the price of weed. We got an update to the Baltimore Police Trace Task Force. The officer who was charged, who got 12 years in jail, is now coming out and speaking out against the other task force. Basically, the news came out that they have been basically planting guns on dead victims to avoid being held accountable for shooting unarmed black people. and they've also been charged with, putting numerous amounts of people in jail for having illegal guns on themselves. The one thing that is going to baffle me for the rest of my days on this story is how the evidence locker room kept letting these guns and weapons and drugs out. So we got an update to this story. Hopefully all of them see the bottom of the prison and never get out.
Yep. Hero, this sounds like that is
It don't it? But check this out. And Eric, the Ever Given, the big ass boat that was stuck in the Suez Canal, Eric is being held for ransom because it owes $8 million to the Egyptian government because the port lost that much money. So they want the ship container to pay for it, but the ship container items don't feel like they have a bid in that deal, so they're sending tugboats to go get their products off their boat so that they can. Do you think Egypt should let this boat go? Because apparently right now there's a shortage of garden gnomes in the UK because 2/3 of the garden gnomes in the world is actually being held on the Suez Canal. I mean, being held for, I don't know. So
if I was Egypt,
who do you blame for this though?
I don't know. Somebody gotta pay. If whatever you want is on this boat, I'm gonna need some money.
Do you like, because the ship people are afraid to go home because they're afraid they might get attacked, their families are in danger, their families are getting death threat. Like, I feel like this is being blown out. This is what insurance is for, right?
I mean, yeah, that is what insurance is for, but again, this is what people, when they finally have control over something and can squeeze some money out of you, that's what they're gonna do.
Yeah, I guess that's the way the cookie crumbles, man. But I'm more concerned about the garden gnomes.
Hashtag capitalism.
I'm more concerned about the garden gnomes. There's some poor people out there in the UK out there their garden just looks incomplete. They don't have the fat stubby garden gnome out there to complete the picture, and that's an issue.
I like it.
But that was basically things we got to tell you about last week. Or whatever the hell I said at the beginning of the show was things we forgot to tell you about last week. But if there's something in here that you thought we missed, go ahead and tell us that in the comment section. And, for better or worse, tell us how you felt about the plethora of stories that we went over. Eric, where can they find us?
Right here on the YouTube, man. Make sure you go ahead, hit that thumbs up. If you ain't already hit it, go ahead and smash that one time for the one time. Make sure you hit that share again, man. We greatly appreciate it, man. If y'all haven't noticed, the subscriber count is going up, and that's because of y'all, really. That's a y'all, man. Y'all being in the videos, coming down here in the chat, sharing and putting up on your Facebook. We greatly appreciate it. So if you got people who don't like YouTube, we're also simulcasting over there on Facebook. Shout out to my Facebook audience. Shout out to the Twitchers that rock with us. Shout out to the Twitchers. Always coming through in the clutch, even though they just spammed our comment section. It's all good. It's all right. Hey, make sure you go down there and hit that link tree. You can see all the rest of the places we're on. Like, these are everywhere you need to be. But don't y'all forget, make sure you're gonna pass that collection plate for that Endurance 24 challenge, 24 miles, 24 hours. Altenberg and Russo, two teachers over at TF North High School, holding it down for the graduating seniors, and we're trying to get some scholarships together for them. We will be live streaming that on May 7th. So make sure you're in here. I'm not saying you got to stay the whole 24 hours, but stop by, show the people some love, and put some of the collection plate. Yeah.
Appreciate you guys. Thanks for coming through. Put on your goddamn mask. Take care of each other. You guys know. Peace. Oh, shout out to y'all. Y'all also got 100 comments going on so far.
Send me some shout outs to I don't know if my man LaRon is on there. LaRon, if you're on here, man, say what's up to the folks in the comments. Yeah, I'm at this birthday.
Yeah, I see you got a bunch of people in the chat right now. Thanks for joining with us, guys. Y'all keep us going, man. Y'all keep me going, because these goddamn people be pushing me. Yo, if there's ever been a time in my life that I'll remember as where I didn't have the power to just do something I wanted to do because of a technicality, this will be it. 2020 and this whole job, man. when people get outside, the world's gonna be crazy. Cause like the restraint that we've had to use, the technology we've been afforded, and we're still not using it. You know, 90% of people do not want to go back to office, but 60% of old guard people say you gotta be in the office and da this. If we keep this up, there's a good chance we could end homelessness by setting up these old multi-billion-dollar corporation buildings, sell them back to the government, make a profit on it, or turn them into fucking hotels. But the level of shadiness that is capitalism and whatnot is keeping this shit alive, and it's really messing with my feng shui.
I like that capitalism. Pure capitalism. I'm fine with it.
And the show's not over, Twisted Texas. Relax. We're still here. We got you, baby. We got you. All right. There's actually two things. Keisha, can you explain to me what the Chris Como thing was? Because I looked the story up, but it was from 2020. So I was confused, like what? Like Diamond and Silk had something to do with it? I couldn't find the story you want. If there's a story you guys want us to cover, you got to send us the link. Because like me and Eric are compiling the story, we don't ever know where anything is. And like, we have to get every story, and we sit down here. Nafi knows, she's part of the production squad.
Yeah. So we send all of the links to the stories that we cover in the Discord.
Yeah. There's a tab in the Discord. There's a tab in the Discord. Stories you want us to cover. If there's something you want us to cover in that quickie segment, put it there, and we'll cover it. And if you want access to the Discord, let us know. Eric, where are we going here? We have crypto. You want to start with crypto first?
Yeah.
Let's satisfy Twisted Texas.
Yeah, Twisted Texas.
At Charmin, we heard you shouldn't talk about
So we
going
got
to the bathroom
crypto,
in public. So
and then we
decided
got
to sing about it.
America's First Act Caucus, and then we have the Tennessee story, and then we have the Nafi, and then we have the Crazy Ken corner. We have a Ken today, fresh off the press. You feel me? This one came out a week last night.
Enjoy the go with Charmin.
Did you know you could shop around for prescription prices?
Oh,
With
easy,
GoodRx, you can find
fast.
free coupons at over 70,000 pharmacies and save up to 80%. It's that easy.
Nafi,
But
is it
don't
time
just
for me to
take
break
my
my
word for
fast?
it. Dr. Adam says
It's time for Nafi to
all my
break her
patients
fast.
about
He probably-
GoodRx. Jacqueline says, my medication
It's 7
was
o'clock. I
$65
break whenever
without
my mom
insurance,
breaks.
but I paid
Is it time for me to break my
$20.
fast?
Says, you don't have to pay full
7:23,
price to
sorry.
live your best life.
my
Couldn't have
time.
said it better myself. GoodRx is
my
100%
time.
free. Download
We
the
out here.
GoodRx app
Let's get
today
sick.
and start saving. GoodRx is not insurance.
Hey, I'm Kristen.
I haven't tasted water since 4 a.m. this morning.
Woo!
Woo!
This new podcast.
I got a new life to me. All right. Let's go with the crypto. Ready?
Yeah.
You want to do the lead for this one, and then I close?
And the Wizard of Oz. So get tucked
Do
in
however,
and drift off.
I'm good. All right, here we go.
Help! Help!
What's good, YouTube? You know what it is. It's your boys, the Identity Booth. It's Hero, Eric, DT Facts, Wakanda's first hero. Y'all know what we're here for. We are here to talk about the money. Y'all know me and Hero are in the market on a regular. Be looking for that new segment called a Money Shot. I'm telling you, it's gonna be powerful. Hero on the stocks, me on the commodities. Anyway, we are here to tell you about the Doge Khalifa, the Doge coin. We have been getting hyped up on Reddit for like a week, talking about Doge to the moon. We've been seeing the diamond hands in the Doge. We've been seeing the puppy dog coin everywhere, and they got us all gassed up. And Hero, did they let us down? Did they let us down?
What's the phobia called when you have a phobia of not wanting, of missing out on the hype? What's it
You're
called?
talking about FOMO. You're talking about FOMO.
Yeah, that is a real life thing, and you have to be careful. You have to be super careful, and that's why whenever we're doing an investing video, me and Eric try to say at the top of the video, yo, don't. Me and Eric are a different type, man. Don't do us. Do you? Know your pockets. Know what you can spend with spend. Dogecoin is coming of age type thing. In the beginning, this was a company that was expected to have a bottomless pit because there was nothing to back it up. It is now outvaluing forward, this is a beautiful thing. If you had bought Dogecoin in January of this year, which was 4 months ago, you could buy a Tesla in full cash right now. Right now. But the problem is people don't understand waves, peaks and hit valleys, really. I was a person that got into Dogecoin early, got out when it hit 25 cents. That was my cue to go. I was like, all right, cool, I'm good. Appreciate it. It said it wouldn't make it to a quarter till a year, 2 years from now. It made it in 3 months. I'm out, and I left, and I got back in at 0.27. The thing that you have to understand about me is I have a vast amount of time to hit peaks and valleys. 3% compound interest over a day is a motherfucker because I made $300 off of Dogecoin. But the myth that's here, the meme that's here, is that they wanted 420. They wanted Dogecoin to hit 69 on 420, which is today's date. And they also want a reverse of it to happen. They wanted to hit 420 again when it's June the 9th or whatever, 6-9 in the date. When you are taking financial advice and it is based off of a meme on a date, on a strict time limit, you should not be doing that.
No, not at all. Honestly, I don't think that any of these people, I guess they thought it was going to get hyped up like GameStop. I guess they thought it was gonna go on Wall Street Bets.
Wall Street Bet is and I looked at Wall Street Bets. Wall Street Bets was banning people for talking about cryptocurrency. Wall Street Bets is very strict about how they talk about things and how they want to do things. So let's go to a story right now, and I think we have a live ticker for it, but we'll look at the live ticker here in a second. But you'd be remiss for sitting here thinking. Like things are, it's all sweet, it's all good. So I think it didn't bounce. If you got in at a certain time, you definitely made a profit. But for people that were coming to the race late, you got to be able to walk away. You got to be comfortable walking away. Let's look at what it is right now. So it's accurate. Yeah. So it's sitting at 0.33. At one point today, it was literally sitting at 0.26. Like the low of the day was 0.28. So people are definitely hurting right now who fell for this, and I feel for those people. But there's also a part of me that's like, come on, man, you got to know that this is something that's not advantageous. That this isn't going to be, the best opportunity for you. Another thing that really struck me as odd is Elon Musk was oddly quiet, which makes me believe that people were paying him to shut the hell up. Because we know Elon Musk pushed this stock, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like, this is his baby, this is his cradle, this is his meme. And I don't recall him making any comments today that would have been very useful to people. Because up until 4 a.m., everything seemed to be going just fine. But they're going, and to Twisted Tech's point, they started allowing it, but Wall Street Bets definitely doesn't want the heat of the big banks anymore after GME, because people really did come for them. And as you can imagine, messing with some old people money, whether you know it or not,
Absolutely.
people gonna be coming for you. Messing with old people money, people gonna be coming for you. So I'm interested to see how it goes. Do I still have holdings in Dogecoin? Yes. Am I still in the positive? Yes. Did I lose money? But my difference makes the difference. It's $400 difference. But I had to sit there painstakingly picking and choosing when and how I got in the market. Eric, do you see this as being something that people can move on in the future?
I think it will. Right now, I just think it's funny looking at Twisted Texas comments. It was a good pump and dump, man. I think Elon gassed it up. Mark Cuban said that he was going to start accepting crypto. I think this is one of the ones that was on the list to be accepted for Mavericks tickets. So, when you take that kind of stuff into consideration, there were some big names behind it, and they ran it up, and then they just started slowly liquidating scaling out of their position, and now here we go. I think it eventually get over $1. It'll eventually get there. I mean, if you're not watching the American dollar, just go to the absolute portion of P-hole. I mean, it is really bad right now. So better get your money somewhere.
So the thing that's I want to say though, to new investors, invest in Bitcoin, invest in Ethereum, invest in something with stability. If you're not an experienced investor, and by experienced investor meaning you lost $600 and made $1,200, don't do it. It's just don't do it. Don't put yourself at risk. Yeah. No one in all of life, nothing is easy. Why do you think this is going to be today? Also, understand peaks and flow of information. You're on a live stream right now. You're getting this at its most critical moment. If you see this video 3 days from now and think to yourself, I'm going to go buy Dogecoin. If someone is putting out a video that you're watching today that they recorded 3 days ago, you've already missed this pertinent information. Understand how your information rocks and flow. I was following Elon all goddamn day today, and he didn't say a word, and it was disappointing. And I'm sure a lot of people felt some type of way about that because they were banking on this uprise. But it's, even if Tesla was having difficulties with their shit, Mark Cuban doesn't have any problem tweeting out because he's a big believer in Dogecoin. You didn't see that happening. So you know, don't as weird as this market is, don't put your faith in people, put your faith in the numbers, because numbers never lie. But, I mean, any last thoughts on this, Eric?
Nah, man. For some of y'all who are skeptical or looking for something that you can get in on a relatively cheap scale, I mean, it might be worth considering. You know, opening a small position here if you feel so inclined. Do your research, consult somebody who's a professional. I mean, there are professionals. Like we don't give advice. Disclaimer, but I think it might be worth looking into. I'm gonna look into it seriously. Probably
I'm holding 500, and I'm fine with that. That's fine. Like I'm up. That 500 is from a $100 investment, so I'm okay with that. But before, I lost a good. Woo! Woo! But for what it's worth, I appreciate you guys joining us. This has been the Identity Booth. We'll have a full live stream where we talk nothing but cryptocurrency, stocks, forex, foreign exchange, all of that good stuff on Friday, where we go deep dive into stories and things of that nature. But for all you guys out there who are watching this and helping us out and doing this thing, you guys can find us here on YouTube. You can also find us on Twitch if you're so inclined, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. There's nowhere you can't find us. As Eric likes to say, Visa is where you want to be. But if you do have a Visa, you know, purple platinum card, and you want to spend some change, a perfect place to do it would be the Endurance 24 Challenge. Altenberg and Lucio are going to be running 24 miles in 24 hours, and we're going to be live streaming the whole entire event here. I'm going to be awake for that whole entire day. I don't know how I'm going to do this. Will I be off the stream? Will I shower? Will I take the stream with me? We'll find out when we get there. But if you want to be part of that adventure, or you want to donate and help for a great cause, join us there. Check us out on the description below. The link trees are out there. ET Facts. Find Eric on all major platforms. _identity_booth is where you can find everything else. And for the rest of y'all, take care of yourselves. It's my party. Bye.
Bye if you must, good sir. Bye if you must.
I got the couple things that I was doing. I was just the fucking the America First act or whatever. Shout out to the you ready for that story? Because that's actually your story.
Yeah, let's go.
Start.
I'll start. What's good, YouTube? Thanks for joining us. Welcome to the Identity Booth. As Hero, I'm Eric. And we are here to talk to you guys about something very, very, very important. Politics. Y'all know we talk about lots. Mainly we talk about the red versus the blues. And this story, unfortunately, gives me the blues. Jeez. Alright, so for those of you guys who don't know, people in the GOP thought it was a great idea to start a quote-unquote third party, and we're going to read what it is that they want to do. They want to preserve the Anglo-Saxon political traditions of this nation. That is literally written in there. That's what they said. But this is about America first. It sounds more like Anglo-Saxon first. And these are the people that are deeply rooted in the GOP. Now, I am not a GOP hater at all. But this is
At Charmin,
trash.
we heard you
These
shouldn't
people
talk about
are
going to the
trash.
bathroom in public, so we decided to sing about
I mean,
it.
this is continuing to happen, and people can say whatever they want about Donald Trump. But one thing he did was he did flip over some rocks, and we done found some crickets, some cockroaches, and some snakes crawling around in the GOP. Hero, how many times a week do we have conversations about these people? And I tend to be more conservative. Hero will admit that I tend to be more conservative than most people. But this is just unacceptable stuff I'm seeing. It's blatantly prejudicial behavior, ideology, tendencies. Like, what do you think?
Maximize engine life.
We had a conversation
Now,
about how
40% better wear
the
protection,
GOP
which sounds a lot like this.
would be better off
The
getting
sound of valve.
it would be beneficial to them to get some
Yeah.
diversity. Like, it's clearly working across America. Like, there are things that black and white people can agree on. We see it every day. But the thing that kind of made it like pretty baffling, the trio that is leading this push, because when I don't know if they thought using the word obviously
Anglo-Saxon.
yeah, obviously the word is complicated, but I don't know if they thought that people like me wouldn't be able to Google it and say that doesn't talk about me. But further, what about the history of this country? You know that there were brown people here before y'all, right? And you guys are the real immigrants. And the terrorist immigrants. Like, you are it's funny that it's, when you think about it though, we're constantly talking about how Mexico's gonna bring the worst and bad people here. But y'all were the blueprints of that movement. And the people in the Congress who are representing this, MTG, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Lauren Boebert, and Matt Gaetz, the trinity of failure is literally leading this cause. And it begs the question. You have the sexual assault accusations, the crime, the conspiracy nut, and the gun nut. All together, and their powers combined, they form the racist Republicans. And it's just like Captain America's Captain Planet or something out here. It's mad.
And bro, and to your point, and these two women, these two women voted no for the bone marrow transplant bill to be extended 5 years. The only two people. For why? Just to be contrary, just to be an ornery, miserable human being.
And even further step into that, remember, the purpose of this bill is to unite or put the American people first.
Exactly.
How is that not being precious? Matt Gaetz was the only person who didn't vote a confidence with the illegal, making it a federal crime to transport a minor in sex trafficking. Like, these are the people who are combining their strong swords. But you, and I have to say this because, like, I don't like handing out pats on the back especially when someone's not even happy with their job. But if I was a Republican looking on the other side, what could you say that they're not doing right? I mean, you could talk about the border, but no one has figured that out. But when we're talking about the COVID bill, when we're talking about the relief, when we talk about the numbers going down, when we talk about the stimulus checks coming out, when we talk about the resounding filling of cabinets, the basic necessities of our government functioning because seats are filled, you have to applaud it. You want to know who we haven't heard from in a long time, Eric?
Who?
Our favorite racist turtle, Mitch McConnell. And
No. We heard from him about that Maxine Waters comment.
But guess what? He's not talking about policy. And that's something that the Republican Party desperately needs to get part of, because you want to know some of the policies they are talking about, Eric? How to make it more difficult for people, over 400 different bills scattered throughout the country on how to make it more difficult to vote. True or false, did we not just have one of the most secure elections?
That's what they tell us.
And the two cases that I have found about there being voter fraud came from Republicans in Republican states. We literally covered a story where a lawyer was explaining how you can commit voter fraud. He did it in 4K. He did it on a live stream. So, like, it's crazy that 27 trans bill. I get that that's a conversation people want to have, but I don't think that's a place for the government to come in place. Hell, you want to know how insignificant the conversation is? The governor of Arkansas couldn't bring himself to change the law because he knew outright that it was a violation of the First Amendment and the Fourth. It's crazy to me that they're wasting so much time on this. And then my favorite, there are 12 bills going out right now. One has been signed, so there's 11 left out there for anti-protesting bills. What should be the objective of the Republican Party if they want to get back on track?
Number one, first of all, they need a leader. They don't have one. They need a clean sweep. They need a professional. They need somebody like me. Because I have no problem punching a person in the mouth to get what I want. But nah, seriously, I'm not going over there to help those people. I think they probably are beyond saving, but if they were going to make a comeback, they would definitely need clean. Clean, I mean no skeletons in closet. Sharp dress, good background, good upbringing. No nothing. Get that done first. Second thing they absolutely have to do is they got to mix up the pot. That's their issue. They don't want any diversity. They wanna be so, we're not gonna play that game. Even though there's plenty of people that they have on that side that they could easily graft into the party, but they just refuse. I mean, you got the Candace Owens and the Anthony Bryan Logans and the Brandon Tatums and the conservative twins, and I could just go on and on about all these conservative people who reach tens of millions of people a day on YouTube. Yet they haven't grafted these people in because they don't want to. I mean, they'll let you come work behind the scenes, but show me how many like Republicans are out in the forefront really doing something. They get a little gas and then they fizzle out. So that's the second thing. Thirdly, they gotta actually have a platform. They don't have one. They just talking all this rah-rah about America and America. That's all they're talking about. We need to tighten up the borders and keep certain kinds of people out. But they're not really. That's old. Like, they're not really talking about anything. They're not talking. They don't have any words for the average American. That's why everything's got to be about promotion, about America. Like, that's old. We need to get actually on task with some real legislation.
But if you're still on the fence a little bit about, Republicans having policies, or maybe I'm targeting, by saying that those voter bills are suppressionists and they're racist, I'd like to direct your attention to Utah. Eric, how many people, not even Utah and Denver, there are certain cities and counties that have certain laws that go on, and it's amazing. Did you know that in Utah, they don't just send you a registration, they send you a ballot to vote.
Same day?
Same day. They send you the ballot in advance, but you can register and vote on the same day in Utah. No ID needed, just 2 forms of just mailing address, right? Another thing is they have based, and if we're using the most populated Atlanta County versus Utah, where the most populated, like Houston, for example, Houston had one mailing box for 10,000 people. 1 million people in Houston. Here, for every 400 people, there's at least one mailbox for them to drop off their mail. They've had 0 issues in voter fraud. They've had 0 issues with losing ballots. And guess what? If there's an issue with your signature that they find, they contact you immediately to rectify it via email and fax. Do you know what the percentage of people in Utah happen to be? It's 96, I believe. 96% white. In Erie, Indiana, there was no questions of voter fraud, but in Hammond, Indiana, the county over, there was. The discrepancy is a population thing. I know they say that we bring up race a lot in politics, but you have to remember, it's because without context, their actions literally don't make sense. When you take race out of it, it literally doesn't make sense what they're doing, because it's clear.
Yeah, so let me jump in here, because I do want to piggyback what you're saying. We got somebody in the comment section that says ID should be required to vote in all governmental elections, in my opinion. And while I tend to agree with that, the reason why this is even an issue is because of the inefficiencies of the government. First of all, the fact that we've been having this conversation is a problem. It should be an app loaded onto your phone. The government only allows you to use in a specified amount of time, and it would be attached to your address because you live here, you pay bills here, it's a cell phone. It would have either your phone can do facial recognition and fingerprint recognition. We can prove that it's you on an app, and you can vote. You can register and vote the same day. We can have all the election results tabulated in an hour and not 10. The government is inefficient. The fact that people have to mail in a ballot in 2021 is a huge issue. Yes, it would work, and you cannot give me a good reason why it would not. Because it's the app that the government pushes to your phone via permission, 2-factor authentication, 256-bit encryption. The government can do it.
And it works for our medical records.
And that's how we know, because that's exactly how we transmit medical records. I do this every day. 2-factor authentication, 256-bit encryption, and I'm authenticating who I am with a username and password and a thumbprint on my device. I'm just saying, it could happen. It'd be way more efficient, and we would never have to talk about this
again. Voter fraud would literally disappear. Everyone has one social security number. Everyone has one address. Once you tabulate it and put it in, hey, guess what? If you try to do it again, it blocks you out. If you say, wait, I didn't vote, who voted for me? Okay, they can track and see which device it came from. There's so many ways of resolving this, but ultimately, I think for us, Eric, did you want to go through some of the things in this bill? Are you entertaining with this bill?
No, I'm not. I just wanted to really point that out. It's a bunch of the same rhetoric we saw from 2 years ago and 4 years ago. It's the same rhetoric. Sovereignty, First Amendment, Second Amendment, immigration, finances, blah, blah, blah. So basically,
it's going to fail, and the people who brought it up are failures and losers, too. 2 of the people out of the 3 in this have been part of the Karen segment, so it's just laughable to see. But that's it for us. Is there a place you can find us? I don't know who started this, me or you.
Me.
Oh, okay, that makes it. All right, hey, but for what it's worth, hey, thanks for joining us. Thanks for being on the show with us. This is our perspective on this, our view on it. Tell us what you think. That's what really matters. Tell us, do you believe that there should be an easier way to vote? Duh. But more importantly, what do you think the Republican Party could do? There's some people that really find hesitance in this, but the reason why I think he's such a good candidate is Mitt Romney. He's a good Republican because he's fair and balanced, and because Trump hated him. And Trump doesn't hate just anybody. He hates people that make him look bad. And Romney, for what it's worth, he voted in accordance with his people, not so much with what the political party wanted. But for whatever it's worth, leave that in the comment section below. Tell us how you feel about it, and also you can find us on YouTube 24/7, 7 days a week. We're always here. We live stream twice a week.
That's why we
now.
have home
We're
safety
trying
tips for things
Tuesday
like
and
fires,
Fridays,
water
political show on
damage,
Tuesday,
and
Monday
theft.
show on Friday.
And USAA
We
homeowners
post
insurance,
videos here every
just in
day.
case.
Podcasts,
USAA,
iTunes,
what you're
Apple,
made of,
Twitter,
we're
Twitch.
made for.
There's literally no place you can't find except for MySpace. Not on MySpace. RIP to the top 8 page. That was always the most difficult decision, picking my top 8, because you didn't want to hurt somebody's feelings. You know there's a girl you like and you want to slide in her DMs, but if you're not in her top 8, you ain't gonna get no love. But for the rest of y'all, like, share, subscribe, and if you're thinking about some of that high school love, it's because we're also doing some stuff for the high school world, man. Take it back to the old school days. Holmberg and Russo, they've been helping out some high schoolers, and we're trying to help them out too. Let's push that tough. If you got any type of change, anything like that, you want to donate, the description and the links all are in the bottom, and also in the link tree. 24 miles in 24 hours. We're going to be live streaming it here, so come join us for that. Take care of yourselves. Eric, man, love you. Put on your goddamn mask. Next topic. Now if you get ready, your segment's next. Okay, we're covering the Austin story. The Tennessee story. Yeah, DJ Thomas. Hey guys, how you doing? My name's Cyril, that's Eric, and we are the amalgamation of the Identity Group, plus you, if there's room. There's always room at the top. We love you. Bring it in. You can find me on all major platforms, _identity_group. That's the link tree. All my profiles are there. You can find Eric Eating Facts on all major platforms. We have to revisit this story, and unfortunately for us, in the process of revisiting this story, we also run into a bunch of other things happening in this country where teenagers, children are being killed by the police. And a story we covered last week was about this story. It was about the Austin East Magnet School, and how there was an accusation that there was a school shooting. Turns out that it wasn't a school shooting. It was just a black teen being murdered by the police. And now, in this uproar and upcry, we're trying to get some more information on what really happened. And they're not releasing the information. And we just want to talk about the teenager that was killed was 17-year-old Anthony J. Thompson. He was apparently having a breakdown. He had a dispute or argument with his girlfriend, into which he went into the men's bathroom, locked himself in a stall, and barricaded himself in. the resource, one of the students saw this, I believe the person's name is Perkins, saw this and decided to call the police. And once that happened, they brought the full force of the military to this child, a 17-year-old. They made the assumption that he was armed and dangerous. There was no verification that he had a weapon. It was just the fact that they called for the police to come to this. The resource officer made this 10 times worse. And the part that's really baffling to us now is 11 days prior to this shooting, this is the first time that this police department was required to wear body cams. And now the prosecutors and the attorneys the DA do not want to release the footage, even upon request by the mayor. And that's just damning. When we first got the story was two shots were fired, assuming one was shot at the officer and was struck. And then a second shot that took out the Anthony. But the truth is, the first shot was a misfire by the resource officer shooting himself in the leg with his own weapon. Then an officer crossfired.
How you try to vibe yourself when you're supposed to be protecting kids?
It's maddening. And they let this story go to the news. They let this story get pushed. They had an official press conference and said this. They lied, knowing they had body cameras on them. So now, this kid who was begging for help was once again met with violence. And we have the situation in Illinois where the mayor was literally, and this is kind of crazy to us, because this mayor in Chicago, Lightfoot, was put in place after our last mayor covered up Laquan McDowell's shooting. And she covered up another kid's shooting for 2 weeks, a 13-year-old. This is literally the last thing we see before he is shot. And it's just eerie as fuck that kids keep getting shot by police. So Eric, we have to make a rebuttal on this. Clearly, there's going to be so much more going on. I don't know who to trust in this story. I don't know what information is real, what information is true. So we're going to keep following this until we get to the end of it. But what are your feelings, what are your thoughts on it?
Dude, this is a huge problem that we have. You know, we had, several. But why are police in the school? To me, this is a condition that kids get used to having police around. Always being watched as someone with a gun that's bigger and stronger. Like, if you guys who haven't watched the video, here on I put a video out too, maybe a month and a half ago, 2 months ago, where this young black girl got ragged on and slammed on her head by the police with unconscious in the house. That's how we see, you know, young pepper spraying kids. We see this stuff all the time. They're not there to help your children. They are there to levy taxes and fines against your children. We saw a 6-year-old kid get arrested, like, for picking a flower. Like, this is the kind of this is what they're trying to condition kids to feel, that they're being subjected to this kind of an issue. And on top of that, they call you a resource officer. What the heck kind of resources are you offering, officer? Because it wasn't to make sure the kids' well-being was okay. You were not ensuring that he was safe. How do you not know he locked himself in the stall, had a razor blade, was gonna cut himself? Or worse, you didn't try to find that out. Instead of breaking down the door, making sure the kid's okay, and taking him to getting some help. This is what happened. And then on top of that, you cheddar bob yourself. You shoot yourself. The cops kick in the door. They just start shooting everywhere. Don't even react situationally properly. They just come in guns a-blazing. They just so happen to hit the boy, and the boy gone. When he's the one who needed help.
The thing that's always gonna be the question for me is, for every resource officer, we should at least have 6 social workers. Like, the social worker would have found this out quicker than the officer would have. Yeah, like, I also think as a social worker, I see social workers saying Give me a body chest thing. Give me some body armor. I will go in there and talk to him. Let me go in there and negotiate. I don't get why violence is always the first thing being brought to kids. Like, as much as we talk about save the kids, protect the kids, do this, do that, it's always violence we bring first to them. It's like unequivocal. And like, the people like sitting here thinking school shootings are on the uprise. Yeah. And you better, and I'm not saying that resource officers aren't necessary, because guess what? School shootings don't happen in black schools as much because they got metal detectors outside. Every kid has to walk through a metal detector. Every day they get on they have to go through TSA, and they don't ever travel a goddamn place. So for me, I see the benefit of having them here, but what's the benefit of having an officer draw his weapon on a student that you don't know is armed? What is the benefit? Like, all the weapons you had. I mean, and don't get me wrong, I see this situation, but you're talking about taking the life of a kid? Like, that's what you woke up and said you wanted to do today? The 13-year-old had his hands up. He's running from you. And once again, I'll say this again, I'll say it for the rest of my life. Black and brown people are terrified of the police. You run from police. That is not something you can mentally cope with. It's a flight or fight response. Your body, naturally, it can't fight it. And you're expecting a kid to have more composure than an adult? Go fuck yourself. I don't know, Eric. What else you want to say?
Today's verdict wasn't a wake-up call to the police union. Pretty sure their I promise you, we'll start looking at the policies and procedures and making quiet adjustments, changing how aggressive they allow people to be, and they're going to throw people under the bus. I expect to see that from a lot of agencies really quickly, and fortunately for us, I'm glad that it's going to happen, and I sincerely hope that changes are made, because again, this is unnecessary. This isn't the first one. This is one of a whole lot of issues like this. So hopefully we get the right answer, we get some resolution to it, we get the truth, and we handle things accordingly and hold people accountable.
Protection against viruses.
No, definitely.
Every time you touch a surface, you leave behind bacteria. To keep surfaces
But
sanitized
for what it's worth,
all
Eric,
day,
where can they find
use
us, bro?
Microban 24 sanitizing
Right
spray.
here on the
Spray hard
YouTube,
surfaces
man.
to kill
Make sure
99.9%
y'all here.
of
If y'all
viruses and
haven't
bacteria
given us a
initially,
like
including the virus that
or
causes
dislike, man.
COVID-19.
We like
Once
the
dry,
engagement.
Microban 24
Make sure you do that.
sanitizing spray is
Make sure you
effective
go ahead and hit
24
that share
hours
button
on
one
bacteria
time
when
for the
used
one
as
time.
directed.
And then make sure you hit that
They're showering
subscribe
with
button.
music.
Turn the notifications to all.
Then
Go down
they're
in
showering
that
with
description
Moxie.
box to check out the
Kohler's
link
Moxie
tree.
shower head
Gonna
plus
tell you
speaker
everywhere you
with
can
sound
find us.
by
We're like
Harman
visually
Kardon
everywhere you
combines
need
a
to be.
luxurious shower
And then
spray
right after
and
that,
a
you can see
premium
that we got
smart
the
speaker
Endurance
for an
24
immersive
challenge. That's
sensory
24 miles
experience
in 24
unlike any
hours.
other.
Two teachers
With
from
Moxie,
TF Norfolk High
showering
School,
never
Allenberg and
sounded so
Russo,
good.
who are running to raise scholarship money for some graduating
Visit
seniors. Man, help a
Kohler.com/Moxie
kid go
and
to
use
college,
code
help
Spotify for
fulfill
special pricing.
the American dream and whatnot. And then after that, man, make sure you swim in the comment sections. But other than that, man, I wish I could say go to our Amazon link, but Jeff Bezos he done cut us off. Papa Bezos done cut us off. So, hey man, we gonna make sure go over to Twitch. If y'all want to drop something in the collection plate for us, go over to the Twitch and drop something in there. We appreciate
Get a
that.
$75 credit for your first sponsored job post. Terms and conditions apply.
The deceit.
He stepped down and stepped off with our money.
Stepped off with our money. Nafi, are you ready?
Ready spaghetti. I'll see you. Hop on over in that Discord, man.
We gonna cut your sex.
I be like, man, hey, listen, I'm breaking my fast right now. Y'all.
She should be done already. Yes, we do. Twisted Tech says we need to make a cash app for it. Instead of that, I heard YouTube get you on
45. And they slapping people.
Maybe
But it's the tax for getting boosted in the algorithm. People who let them super chats run, even if it's some controversial stuff, man, they let it ride. So like, if you're gonna show the love and not really try to get people to spam the cash app, then ooh.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
we can't see you.
All right, now we can see
Can you see
you.
me?
We can see you. Oh. Cup of tea. Cup of tea.
Best part of the night. Besides Crazy Karen or Kenneth. Shout out to me for coming up with the Kenneth. Well, my 2 cents from Bill.
Crazy. Kenneth the Cold. Why is her video taking so long?
Mine?
I don't know.
I can see her on one video, but I can't see her on the other.
Together,
at all,
on my
Aaron?
segment.
Is that what?
You see her at all?
I can see her in I can see her here on Discord, yeah, for sure.
I got this.
Yeah, yeah.
Size me up. Get my muscle.
Oh, so you cool. How's everybody else doing? What y'all eating for dinner, man?
I mean, first of all,
Here, y'all even ate yet.
bro, we haven't. Yeah, Twisted Tex over here making, what did you say? Arroz con, was it gandules?
Ooh, Eric showing off the vernacular.
Just that fancy, 2 times a week Spanish lessons, man.
It is Taco Tuesday. Make sure y'all blow that shopping tax today.
That Chauvin pack?
Blow that.
That loud Chauvin pack?
That loud show. Put it in the air for him. Burn all his paper. They used to write his name.
What? I'll give him 3 years off his sentence if he just gives us what he was writing on that paper.
He probably saying, I'm sorry. Well, you're in jail. And I mean,
And they revoked this shit immediately. They said we would like to take him into custody right now. They were like, yep.
I think it's for his own safety too. That's why he did it.
Yeah.
Minneapolis, there's not too many places you can have.
As always, recently we found out in the algorithm that you guys have a preference for hearing stories from my sister. So, due to popular demand and the likelihood of me losing my channel because of her, we bring you Tea with Nafi. How are you doing?
Well, today was definitely a all-nighter for me. I've already touched on it, but yeah, like the verdict is everything I was thinking about. I mean, I've watched the trial since day one. I just have that kind of time. So yeah, I've been watching it since day one. I've learned so much. I've learned a lot about the courtroom. Like, I really didn't know what really went down until like I watched this trial fully, like how things are put into perspective. And I just want to give a shout out to Dr. Tobin from the VA Hines Hospital out of Illinois. It's right outside of the north side of Chicago. shout out to him for coming and testifying at his own will for the prosecution. He was a pathologist specialist. He was the one that came and like dropped nothing but facts, and he made it clear like you were on his neck, like your knee was on his neck, and he could not breathe. Like he made that clear, and it was like the defense was like, "Well, why did you come?" He said, "Because I wanted to testify. Because I'm the specialist. I've been doing it for over 40 years." Period.
All right, so then what are you here to talk about?
So I'm here to spill a little tea, just a little. Hopefully you guys all have your cups. Remember, anytime there's tea with Nafi, have a cup, sip some tea with me. So I know I was in here last week. It was pretty hectic, you know. First day of Ramadan, and it ate me alive. So I really needed to just. I really.
Nafi, you made us thug it out by ourselves, man.
I need to gather my thoughts. You know, I'm sorry about that, guys, but I am here now. I have adjusted. So let's just get right into the piping hot tea. So Kanye and Kim Kardashian have officially come to an agreement that they are getting a divorce. This was an interesting divorce for me because I was just waiting to see what Kanye was gonna do that was gonna be out of line, like do something crazy, like I want all custody, all these kids. They're gonna move to Wyoming with me. They're gonna live on a farm. Like I just had all these kind of visions because Kanye is that kind of person. You never know what you're gonna get. You don't know what Kanye you're gonna get when you wake up in the morning. But push come to find out, like Kanye was like, I want to agree to. No, first of all, let's go back. So the last season of the Kardashians is playing right now, and there's an episode where Kim had to make an appointment with Kanye's secretary to speak to her husband. She couldn't talk to him directly. I thought that was crazy.
That's kind of player. I
thought that was like, I mean, this is, at the end of the day, you may not like her or whatever it is, but that's still the mother of your children. And she should never have to make an appointment with you, especially if it's an emergency. Like,
hey, listen, she's not a priority no more.
Kim was literally calling him. It could have been anything. It could have been like York fell off a bridge. Like, you don't know. You know what I mean? So I feel like that was mighty disrespectful. But then I was happy to see. Yeah. So I was happy to see then later on the Shade Room, they talked about like what the agreement was for the divorce. So they all agreed to have joint custody of all the kids, which was huge to me because I'm like, you know, Kim and her family live in LA or you know live in Calabasas and he lives on and off in Wyoming, you know. So I was wondering like, okay, so what's gonna happen to the kids? You definitely see a connection with you know his first daughter North. So I wanted to make sure that there was still some type of you know, something written down to say like, you know, these are both of our kids. We're gonna, you know, do co-parenting and raise them. So that was good to see. Another big kudos to Kanye was that he did not request any spousal support. Now, Kim and Kanye are both in their bags, no doubt about it, but Kardashian name runs for years, starting with her father, right? So she been had a bag. So that was the
How do we feel about this? How do we feel about this?
I mean,
in a just world,
like if it was turned around, yes. If it was turned around and Kim didn't have money, I feel like spousal support would have been thrown out there automatically. I do feel that way. I do.
There's a part of me that says that she should. And since they both agreed that they're not going to do it, but I feel like if this wasn't up to them agreeing, I feel like she should be breaking a little bit of pocket change for him. And that's not even on some broke hater type shit. That's like on some.
But I feel like they made it bigger than money. It's not about that.
You know feel like that should be the tempo with everybody then?
I do. Like sometimes, so like let's go back to Dr. Dre's wife, estranged wife, who wanted all that money, but for what? And then she said it's for her lifestyle, right? For her house, her jewelry, for a job because she don't have one. Like, who fault is that?
Yeah,
who told you not to go to school?
But why she didn't just stay there?
Well, obviously they were having their issues. You know, I knew she even threw out the whole thing about a possibility of domestic violence, which I don't see. I can't see happening with Dr. Dre. He is about that life. So, but my whole thing again, like, you was asking for $1 billion, $1 million a month. Like, why do you need that much money? For a month, what expenses do you have? Because it sounds like you need a financial advisor to me. If you have those kind of expenses on a monthly basis. His kid's grown, so why do you need that much money? So it makes me upset when I do see some of these celebrities who already have a bag, are still trying to go after the significant other because their bag is higher than theirs or longer than theirs. I don't like that. I don't like that. And also even with the children, like, I mean, people be asking for all kind of money. Now I get it, you want to put your kids in private school, no problem. You can put them in private school, but do they need to wear Fendi, Prada, Gucci, or can they wear clothes from Walmart like the regular students do? You tell me. Do they need to have expensive birthday parties with animals from the damn zoo there? Probably not. Because that's not in your budget that you didn't make the money for. No, I don't. I disagree with that 100%. So yeah, I was happy to see this outcome after Kanye dragging her through Twitter when he was going through his little episode phase. Kim is one loyal person, I will say that. She stood by all that and still wanted to be with this man.
And you know what? I'm going to say this about the Kardashian family. They are professionals at destroying men. Like, I don't know.
Come on.
No,
man eater.
Man
eater.
Look, they took NBA champions.
I watched the Kardashians. No, I used to think that same thing here until I watched the Kardashians from season 1 to now season 20. I did that. I had that same assumption.
You're part of the cult. That's why you believe that.
Like,
You've been indoctrinated.
You have
to watch it to understand. You gotta watch it.
If we get 1,000 likes before the end of the year, I'll do a marathon watch with Nafi.
Yeah, watch it because like I said, they've been in their bag before all these.
In addition to what we have now, gotta make sure I give myself a shot. Ultimately, Eric, we're happy to see this, right? Peaceful resolve, family dissolving but not breaking apart. That's good. I am fearful that Kanye hasn't yet gotten the treatment he needs.
Absolutely. He hasn't.
We are still dealing with a very volatile person, and I constantly have to remind people, don't let his music put you into this false sense of security, because Robin Williams posted a lovely picture of him smiling the day before he committed suicide. So like, we have to keep that in.
And it starts off with the support system. Like, these people want to be on jets and be making music with him, but who really checking on his mental health as well? But look at DMX. DMX was clean for how long? One slip up, now what happened? Like, what was your support circle? Like, who's making sure, like, hey, did you go to therapy this week? What did you, did you accomplish this stuff? Like, but people all about the jets. When it's time to throw money at the strip club, Usher. You know what I mean? Like, that's the kind of stuff that they want to do. They want to do those kind of activities.
You want to make love in the club.
Yeah, make love in the club. You know what I mean? Just throwing bills with my face on it. So let's just get into the next part of the scene.
Don't squash the story. But anyway, that's this segment. That's Disbelief. Tell us what you think about this. Are you okay with this? If you were poor and your spouse was rich, or vice versa, would you be okay with breaking bread evenly or creating something?
No.
Does this make the conversation about prenups that much more important? Because this is basically what a prenup is. Let's be adults. It's 21st century. Prenups are a thing. But tell us what you think. Tell us what you think. Thanks for this. Eric, I don't know how interested you were in this story. Could you tell us?
Well, listen. In the words of Kanye, he said, "We want prenup. We want prenup. Yeah, something that you need to have. So when she leave ass, she gonna leave with half." So where y'all can find us for more of this hot fire is right here on YouTube. Make sure you hit that subscription button if you want these bars. And then make sure you hit that notification bell, set it to all. Go down there and swim in the comments with your boy. Be down in the comment section. And then hit that link tree. See where we at. We like Visa. I'm telling you, everywhere you need to be. And we got the Endurance 24 Challenge, 24 miles, 24 hours. TF North holding it down. We got the 2 alumni on the screen right now.
09.
So I'm just saying, we repping for the North. I mean, I didn't go there, but Altenberg and Russo, they adopted me, so I was there in spirit. So we all good. So make sure you go put something in the collection plate. Find that link down in the description.
I know you got it, sis. You got that stimmy.
Hey, straight up.
Hey, Chicago bogus for putting out a list of people who stole money from the stimulus. Chicago bogus.
Chicago, get off that. Come on, Chicago.
gotta check and make sure your name on the
Petty
list.
capital of the country, huh?
Well, let's calm down. Calm down. Yeah, we still about that life. We still about that life.
Yeah, that was pretty quick.
All right, want to lead the second one?
Yeah, let's do it. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Identity Booth. Y'all see we got a local celebrity in the building. Y'all already know what time it is if y'all see her on the screen. And if you don't know what time it is, it means you're not sub to the channel. So go ahead and do that. But without further ado, this is our favorite segment on the show. Make sure you got your cup ready. We got tea with Nafi. Nafi, what you sipping on today?
The tea is burning. Like getting burnt in the club. Burning.
Yeah. He let it burn. You let
Are
it
you
burn.
proud of yourself for that? Are you proud of yourself? Is that the hill you want to die on? Okay.
No shade though. I love Usher.
Yeah.
But let's talk about him. So thank you guys for joining me on Tea with Nafi, because this tea is piping hot. Don't let it burn you, literally. But so if you don't know, Usher is establishing his residency in Vegas. So shout out to him, because I think that's big. A lot of people do that, go to Vegas, establish a residency. That's big. It's noble. However, Usher, now mind you, I'm gonna talk about this because I didn't know before I had a conversation with Hero what the real scoop was. But as you all may or may not know, Usher went to a strip club and dropped bands. I mean, bands from like money on like strippers, food, champagne, you name it, dropped bands. However, when at the end of the night, when it was time to sweep them bands, we all noticed a face that was turned the opposite way. Of which way? Who was on the $100 bill? Who was that? Grant? No.
On the 100, that's Franklin.
Yeah, so you know how Franklin looked this way? Usher was looking this way. So when you sweeping it on the floor, you like, that's a pretty dark person in the middle. So you find out the stripper
Man.
like, no, he didn't just play. And Usher left by this time, right? Usher gone out the club. He gone. But he left his faces on the floor.
That's
so
That's hilarious.
So people were mad pissed. The strippers were mad pissed because, you know, they were throwing it that night for him. And all he threw was his faces. So then I had a conversation, and this is a tip to you, Shade Room, before you start. And this is what I'm talking about. People love to, like, sell gossip without getting all the facts straight. Maybe they need an e-fact on the Shade Room team, because they swear they don't give you the full story. So they pretty much clowned Usher, and that's why I brought this to, because I wanted to clown him for doing some stuff like that. That's real cheap for him to do that, especially if he really didn't give them money. He used that fake money. But push, like, again, I spoke to Hero earlier today, and he told me that Usher already paid for all his expenses prior to the events happening in the strip club. That's the real man. So he already paid for it. So this was just a promo, again, because his residency is coming in Vegas. So this was just like a promo, right? Promo, like, okay, get ready to keep seeing this kind of stuff happening. So again, people don't do the extra research like we do here on the Identity Booth. We give you straight facts. Straight facts. No, none of that sugarcoating. We read over here, degrees. So, I mean, so at first I was really upset with Usher. I was like, dang, like, that's bogus. Like, they probably was working really hard that night. But yeah, like I said, the push come to shove, he already paid for everything. He probably gave an extra tip on top of that, because he probably knew how these people were gonna feel. Imagine you being a busboy cleaning up all these bottles. And then he slides you this little $20 bill with a face on it that's Usher. I'd be pissed. You know what I mean? So yeah, so shout out to Usher.
Yeah, I think it's funny. I think like the management should have definitely said something in the beginning, but the reaction in the story, the headline, it did its job. We're talking about it here on a show, it did its job. But real quick, what's everyone's favorite Usher song?
Mine is Superstar.
Oh man, see, that's why we family.
I love Superstar.
That song is.
It does something to me. Superstar.
Yeah. The way it come in.
It's the way, exactly. Like, if I could sing, you wouldn't know me. So, I would be something else. I'm still thinking about it.
Yeah. I do like Climax though. Climax is good. And then what's it?
Well, I do like Burn too. Burn was a great song until like the whole, you know,
He was
herpes
burning
situation
people?
Out.
Hey,
Yeah,
allegedly.
so, I don't know.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
We're not trying to get
Allegedly,
sued.
because Usher, I'm on your side. I don't think it happened. I think these girls is chasing you for your money. But
Nah,
look, let
it
it
wasn't
burn.
a girl. It wasn't a girl though.
Ooh,
Allegedly.
that's tea. That's tea. That's way too hot for me, Eric. Way too hot.
My favorite song
You keep
is
that
the
tea to
parody.
yourself.
My favorite song is the parody song from the Boondocks, where the lawyer who acts really disgruntled.
Oh,
sings
yeah.
the song in the middle of the street while it rains. That's my favorite song.
You
For
would
whatever
give a
it's
Boondocks
worth,
to
though, good for you, Usher. Welcome to Las Vegas. Do you have a new song coming out recently?
Yes.
Do you want
Yes,
to
it's
promote
big.
that song on this website, on this channel? We could really use it, but I want to give kudos to
Absolutely.
Nafi for being this week's subscriber base, because her videos have garnered 3 subs. So a round of applause for Nafi's team. This is why the segment has not been canceled yet.
Yes.
The moment she becomes dead weight, we will leave her behind. And if you don't
Cancel
want that
me.
to happen,
You cancel me, I'm telling your father. So
share,
you figure out what you want to do.
you hear me? Like, I will blank her out of existence.
And also, Hero, I gotta shout out my ship. I gotta shout out my ship, Lizzie G, because she said she wanted to jump on your podcast one day. So my ship, Lizzie G, is a big time Chicago artist, rapper. She promotes. One thing about Lizzie is that she don't curse in her music, which is one reason why I really envy her, because that's hard to do. I mean, it's easy now. You see rappers talking about drugs, money, females calling out their names, but Lizzie does it clean. And then she has a big fan base called the No Bully Zone. So Lizzie goes into high schools and talks about bullying. She does partnerships with Walgreens to get school supplies and stuff. So shout out to Lizzie G. She wants to definitely come on y'all show to just, shout out, some things that she's working on and get some more people.
Liz, you want to perform during the 24-hour live stream?
I think she'll be down. Lizzie will be down. She's definitely a positive person. I envy her. She was my roommate in college and we became sporty sisters. So definitely shout out to Lizzie G, and hopefully she'll be on the show.
Throw them diamonds up.
She throw the L's since we throw it for Lizzie G L's, but we can also throw it that ooh. Shout out to DSFWMD. We just turned 10 years in the bond. Shout out to us. Sorry. Yeah.
Lizzie G,
sorry.
Contact your people. She's clearly an advocate. Come on down. But the Endurance 24 challenge, you're going to run 24 miles in 24 hours. That's a lot of dead space. If you want to fill that space, send us your act and send your agent. And we'll obviously consider it, and we'll probably put it on the screen because we don't have much else.
Yeah. And you spell 1,000 THOUSAND.
And for the rest of this, you can find us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, all over the place. Our links are right above our heads. ETFacts is there. _identity_boo. I guess we should put Nafi's up there. I'll snap, and now it's on the screen for you. But for all intents and purposes, that's where you can find us. Take care of yourself. Put on your goddamn mask. Nafi, thanks for the tea.
Masked up.
And we'll see you guys next show. If this continues to show, does that mean the identity has to change?
All right, I'm going back to YouTube.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Nah, it doesn't mean that. It just means that we pivot. We pivot on this 80-20.
Yeah, 80-20.
I'm on that too. There we go. I'm back, kind of. All right. Oh snap! It looks like it's everybody's favorite segment. While Hero's doing that, y'all know what time it is. We always save the worst for last here on the Identity Booth. It is everybody's favorite segment. It is the crazy Karen, and in this case, Kenneth Corner. And we have a very, very special Kenneth for you. Hero somehow always happens upon these kinds of stories. So, y'all don't know, me and Hero like legit do a rundown on Monday afternoon. And we always get to this at the end, and we're comparing Karen and Kenneth's stories. He's like, he's like, what you got? And I'm like, what you got? And then I'm like, nah, let's just go with that one. That's way better. So, without further ado, Hero, lay it on us. Who we got on the slate today?
We're gonna watch this one in full.
Call
and then I'm gonna give you the
8338 Rocket
backstory.
or visit
We're gonna watch this in its entirety, and
rocketmortgage.com.
I'm gonna give you guys the backstory on this because it is utterly amazing to me how these people continue to find a way. This is fresh off the dock. This happened
to your
on the
favorite
14th. This is 20th today.
And we
So
love
let's
listening
just
to
play
you.
it for what it's worth.
The phone goes around screen.
What are you fucking what are you doing? You just fucking supporting fucking all lives fucking matter? Guess what? All lives fucking matter. Black lives don't fucking matter. All lives matter. Okay? Because fucking Black Lives Matter. Take this on your fucking recording. Black Lives Matter is the most racist fucking thing we've ever fucking seen. Alright? All lives matter. All lives fucking matter. That's how it is.
What you not?
What about goddamn brown lives matter? White lives matter. How about everybody else? Guess what? All of you black fucks are goddamn racist motherfuckers. You're the most racist.
Okay. It's very rare that you get to see a Ken Nicole in public with his Karen on deck. And the thing that I want to point out here is just the convoluted extents that people go to. Now, for backstory on this dude was upset that he couldn't buy more alcohol, and he clearly looks like he's intoxicated. But I want to give people you know, this might be a hot take for me, Eric. Do you think being intoxicated means you get to be racist?
No. Hey, a drunk mind speaks a sober heart.
So we know what this Kenneth is all about. We know. You can't tell me you don't know what's in his heart because we see it. He's putting it out there in display. When he literally says, let's go back to this segment right here where he literally is saying Black lives doesn't matter. And when he says it,
No. That's not what he said. You black.
Listen.
Black lives don't fucking matter.
Black lives don't fucking matter, and he ends by saying it in front of the black guy. Like, for you to have the balls to say Black lives doesn't matter in front of a black person, and the shout out to the girl that recorded this. Her name is @___ Jasmine Nicole on TikTok. I'll put it up on the screen if I can find it. She was the one that videotaped this. She's a young girl. She was just minding her own business. She was trying to leave, but they were in the process of kicking this guy. She just pulled out her phone to record. And there's something hilarious to me that like this level of emboldened, because you see these Karens and Kens become emboldened when they see that they're being videotaped. Like they want to put their whole ass out there.
This is gonna lose his job.
And don't worry, we got the address, we got the stats, we got the deets on this. Because Eric, you want to know some interesting facts about this guy? Besides the fact that he's a racist. Besides the fact that he's a racist, the fact that he's
no, hero. We're the racist.
Based on Reddit comments and our stories about Jimmy Dore, we are racist. Me and Eric are racist, and I'm gonna say this, and I say this in jest, but it's really true. Me and Eric don't own a system that is systematically designed to oppress people based on the way they look. Me and Eric might be assholes. But we're not racist.
We'll own that.
We'll own that.
We're not racist.
Hey, black people can't be racist. Deal with it. Like, you can't fight me, but you can't do nothing about it. But you want to know something that's interesting about this guy? You want to know some interesting facts about this dude? Now, there's 3 people in Summerton, South Carolina, with the name John. What's his name? Let's go to it. Yeah. Oh, I lost it.
His name is All Lives Matter. That's his name.
Okay, here.
His name's Kenneth. That's his name.
His name should be Kenneth. We can do it by date. I know when he was arrested by. Oh, can I find it? I lost it. Let's find him real quick, shall we? I believe his name is John.
See, look, y'all don't mess with Hero. He will find you.
I can't find it.
Inmate inquiry.
Joe, I know I had his name stored somewhere. Yeah, John Miles. His name is John Miles. So let's look him up real quick, shall we? Let's look up Miles. Last name. Sorry, it was in last name. Miles. I will find you. There he is. That a boy. 27-year-old white male was arrested 4/16/2021. Next court date 5/17/2021. He was arrested for let me get this on the screen for you guys. He was arrested for trespassing. There it is.
That's a country name if I've ever heard it.
So we got him now, and he's being held on with house arrest bond for $15,000. Trespassing and entering premises after warning or refusal to leave. Breach of peace with aggravated in nature. So basically, hate speech, basically for me. And the thing that's kind of bothers me about this situation, Eric, is that they just didn't call it what it was. Because this is clearly hate speech. But
it is, and somebody else out here is going to escalate the situation. He said you black F-words are the most racist MFers. He said black lives don't matter. I mean, he all but said the N-word, and I'm pretty sure if he would have said it, she would have made sure that it came out in the video.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
Drunk enough to make an outburst, but not drunk enough to use the word he wanted.
Hey, thinking about it is, me and Eric said it, we like our races loud, but just do finish it. Finish it. Finish. Be the racist you want to be. Become the fully realized Kenneth Ken the Cole III. Be him. I believe in you. But to add on to this, there's a good chance. Now there are 4 John Miles in the white books of this town in South Carolina, and I'm gonna take a chance here. One of them is deceased, another one is a junior, and then another one is a lawyer